So, welcome to stage one of, I suppose, engine ancillaries, we're going to say. Now, what we've got here is a scavenge pump, oil pump, and water pump. They all live inside the timing case on speed 6. What we've got here from Powers is basically a sealing kit. Everything we need to reseal these and the front case of the engine. And that's from Powers Performance in Coventry. What we're looking for, what we're looking at on these. So let's start with the oil pump, shall we? So you can see part number there. Let's pop the 2 gears off. Firstly, any play, so end to end, side to side, and that is solid. And the bearing sounds perfect. And this is all really nice. This is all just more and more things that point to the fact this engine's quite nice. Now on the face, anything, again, that's one of those standard things with engines, isn't it? Anything you can feel with your finger or thumbnail, and that all feels nicely flat. Then what we're going to do is change that O-ring, and it will go again. So that is that. Water pump, again, you can see on there, I mean the thing looks fantastic, it's hardly any miles at all. So once again, we're looking for any kind of play, side to side, up and down, and in and out. And then it turns smoothly. Bearing all looks really good, and that looks fine to me. It's a forged part, hence the sort of mottled surface. So again, 2 O-rings. Should run again, and there were no signs of coolant leaks. And then finally, the bit I think we're going to do first, because once I've done this, I can mount this back in the sump, is the oil scavenge pump. And then on this one, I'm cleaning out all the rubbish from it. What we're looking at is basically to spin all those teeth round, and we're looking at where on that mating surface, and if we spin it that way, you can just see, so where they touch, looking at scoring marks, inconsistent wear, anything like that on those mating faces of the gear teeth, because those running together, I suppose, a bit like a supercharger, roots type supercharger, I guess, suppose. So yeah, I mean any sort of wear on there, in extreme cases, chipped teeth. You can see there's a bit of dirt on there, some of that might be from where I've had it out of the engine. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So again, same thing with this. We will change those seals and we will have a quick look at that bearing. So let's start. If you lovely ladies could just give us a little bit of room. Thank you. And that's the part number for those seals. But if you want to pause that at the start, you can. Okay, so we'll just pop those off first. And just when you do something like this, always try and keep it exactly the way it came off. You see they're half mooned there, and that is so they all stay still, basically. Now we do have, I see, so we do actually have that Woodruff key here. So I'm going to have to pop the Woodruff key out. The key, yeah, so that actually keys the last, see I'm learning too. That keys the last cog into the bearing. So let's just see if we can. Okay, and we're back. So pop the Woodruff key out, little half moon. And that went to key that. What I did in the end was basically, because it's a half moon, usually you just put a little bit of force on one side and it will sort of tilt it out like that. And next, with anything when you're reusing stuff like this on an engine, I would say maintain where they are, because these parts have been working together now for a little bit of time. See, that easy. So they're going to wear, the wear patterns will basically wear into each other. Otherwise you're going to be to some degree running in the engine again, which we're going to have to do with all our new bearings, aren't we? But there we are. And the last one. Okay, now I won't bore you particularly. What we're going to do, so this is basically an idler shaft, so that just sits in the end there. Which is a very good fit, because it's blanked. All it ever wants to do is sort of come out, and then that's the main shaft. So that's why these are key. So basically that's your drive, so imagine your sprocket there, which is what that key is for. This spins, this is just loose, it's an idler shaft, so exactly that. This spins that, this spins, which spins that, and then that creates that basically creates the pressure, so it's a scavenge pump. That is pulling oil from the sump up to the main pump to turn it into high pressure to lubricate your engine. So again, no real bad signs of wear. There is no play in that bearing at all, and it spins beautifully. So what I'm going to do with that, clean it all up, change the O-rings. I've already cleaned up the sump side, so you'll probably rejoin us when I'm going to slot it into the sump. Oh, hi. This is really boring, and whilst it gives you a good opportunity to check all your teeth for abnormal wear, those teeth, it does remind me how much I need to buy what Mr. BMW German M539 Restorations calls a whizzy machine or a fizzy machine, an ultrasonic cleaner, because I could just lob it all in there and go have a cup of beer or something. But don't worry, you're not going to have to fast forward through this, even though I can't. Okay, there we go, all nice and clean. Just a bit of sort of oil scarring on there. O-rings, keep it off the sharp corners, roll it around the face, and roll them on. There you go. So we've changed all 4 of those. Now we can pop this all back together. You probably can hear pressure washing in the background over the normal birds. My dear lady wife, like all good people, she thoroughly enjoys pressure washing. Okay. I think what we'll do is get really messy. So what I'm trying to put a bit of this just to aid assembly on the shafts, and obviously this one is important because, well, I don't know whether the shaft spins or the gears spin on the shaft. You'd assume the gears would spin on the shaft, wouldn't you? So there we go. And we will slide you. Oh, that's a really nice feeling. And then we're gonna make sure we get plenty of this inside each row of teeth. Oh, look at that. From what? Oh no, you're getting it all over my high precision pliers there. Okay, and then we've got an idler, so difference again. See that? No keyway. Now, on some... you see how the oil pump works, look. Whee! On some oil pumps, you want to pack them with something. May as well just use the stuff that's being squidged out. So, for example, Rover V8s. They're a bugger for it. They are sods. So what they do is you have to pack the oil pump with Vaseline in order. Oh, that could be interesting, couldn't it? How do we get that over that? I feel like pushing is violent. But then, don't know what else. So. What if... Cool. There's quite some stiction there. Right, so with Rover V8s, you want to pack the oil pumps, there we go, with Vaseline. And what that does is give them a prime, as it were. Helps them, oh my glove, and that invariably will help them with that first start, and it helps them actually get pressure up. Otherwise you could end up running the engine for too long without any oil pressure in it. With the Speed 6, short of just using an assembly lube like this, I can't see anything in the manual, so it's not quite down enough. Ah, no! I really should have just got the little hammer. There we go. Everything's a hammer when you look hard enough, isn't it? He says failing miserably. There we go. Willkommen to mein Sump. So this is all cleaned out, gooped. Oh. We've blown brake clean through the waterways and everything like that. Right, so then we're going to go quite tight. I suppose it has to be, doesn't it? There we go. Right. Oh. There we go. Everything is oily. Oh. Ugh. What amazing noises, aren't they? The reason we're doing it upright is quite simply because we don't want the gears to fall off. Right. No, where are you going? There we go. Lovely. Lovely. I'm just going to grab the sprocket and we'll give that a little turn. I've got the little sprocket here. Oh, lovely. Oh. And you can hear. Oh. Oh, what a noise. I do apologise. That's disgusting, isn't it? And then, what do we want? We want our little boots. And then these little buggers are torqued up to 10 Newton meters. The princely sum of with a dab of Loctite. You the right size Allen key. Yes, you are. Right. Okay. Torquing things up isn't very interesting, really. So just wind the bolts in, put it, get your torque wrench, and then go click. That's torqued up. 10 Newton meters. Aluminium threads. Remember Land Rover videos. Do a little backdrop here. This is my TVR. Sorry, I just get really excited when I look at it. So that's the scavenge pump done and popped back into the sump. In the background, off camera, all I did was swap the O-rings on the coolant pump and the O-rings on the oil pump, lubed up the oil pump, and then they'd just been bolted back onto the block. So next, we're chucking the sump back on and we'll get on with reassembling that. See you at the engine stand. Hello everyone. Sump, look, gaskety stuff. No sump gasket on a Speed 6, and we'll be using some Simply Instant gasket, which is available from my Motor Factor, but I've used it on a few things and it's all worked rather well. Remember the key to this is lovely, clean surfaces and following the instructions. Why do I say following the instructions is important? Don't just sort of wang it down into place. For example, this stuff, you need to leave it for about 15 minutes just to skin over. For whatever reason. Probably magic. And then just a couple on each side. In two places on the Speed 6, you put a 30mm. Which is, I think it's that one and that one. There's a picture from the manual. So 12 M8 by 25s, 2 M8 by 30s, which is right hand side number 2 and left hand side number 6. Yeah, so if you see that slightly larger than the rest, they have the two slightly longer cap heads So another 5mm for whatever reason. One thing I haven't done is seal the rear main carrier. Just because once we're off the engine stand, I'll have that off, I'll change the rear main, and then we can attach the clutch, gearbox, you know, etc. You're just about to see in shot where we did the scavenge pump and then our engine ancillaries on that side of things. Not this side of things, that side, on the other side of things. I know this isn't very clean, but unless you've been run over, you're not going to see it, and I'm not a concoursey person. So that's on, that's on, that's on. I know I can get that chain over that fairly easily because I'm not doing it probably the right way around, and even if we can't, we'll slide it off, we'll slide them off that way. So yeah, whatever. All enjoying the videos? Hope so. I'm enjoying building it. Are you all really just watching to see if it all goes terribly wrong at the end? Oh look, not spending $8 grand on an engine rebuild. Well, I suppose that's the thing. You can all laugh at me then, can't you? And we'll see who was right. What else have I done? You need to clean your threads up, especially if they're all gunky from instant gas. So, what's the takeaway? Indian, please. Where are we going with that? Right, sitting with that, make sure both sides are clean. Make sure you put the crankshaft back in, well, that's useful. Then, nice little bead, sort of 1/8 of an inch thick. Read the instructions on your instant gasket. So that's leave 15 minutes so it sort of skins over. So when you touch it, it's got like a sort of dry skin across the top. Pop it down, don't over tighten it. There you go, and when you clean it, wait till it's dry and then just cut it off with a razor. Simples. Timing chains, not timing chains, ancillary chains next. Then paint the front cover on. Right. We're continuing on a pace here. We've got our pages from the Cigaris manual, the Speed 6 Bible. So what we're doing, we've got our chain on the scav pump, we've checked the play, so we want 10mm. So what we want to do is measure, feed that behind, longest run of the chain, which is that one. Hold a ruler behind it, and then you're measuring about 10mm of play, back and forth on the links like that. There's no adjustment on that, so I'm guessing if it's drastically more, it's probably placed the chain. That's loose, so we need to nip that up, but we're going to set the tension on this first. These are all manual on the Speed 6. We'll go through those two in a minute. So we've got the nuts on loose. Do they want Loctite? Yes, they do. So we'll pop the Loctite on those before we're done. But first, setting the manual tension on this one. So this one, it's quite a clever design actually, I think, is you actually turn the water pump, it's concentric. So this piece moves that way, like so, moves sort of like that as you turn it. And that increases and decreases the tension on that chain. So we want, again, 10mm in the longest run, and that is absolutely bob on. And that's all well and good, Peter, but what if the wonderful people of YouTube land need to adjust it? Well, you put a huge spanner on the water pump just behind the sprocket where there's two flats, and you turn it. So, we've got some little bolts here. We're going to Loctite these. they're really easy to fit. I haven't set that. I'm just going to recheck. So, bang on 10mm. The little cap heads that hold the water pump are 20 Newton meters, I believe. Hold the line caller, 20 pounds feet. Yes, 20 pounds feet and 35 pounds feet. Oh dear. There we go. Cool. So, the next one is we're just going to nip up, lock tight and nip up the bolts on the front. Which are 14s, I think. What's 14mm? And these go 35 pounds feet. Yes, I'm doing it on the chains. The manual suggests doing it just like this. I guess because the actual, you see, probably. Let's be honest, the torquing is not exactly tight, is it? So, bottom end's done. What have we achieved? We've got new bearings, which we'll have to run in. We'll have a bit of running in anyway. The running in process on an engine is all about mating machine surfaces. And whilst the only ones we've changed are those friction bearings, well, it's probably still a run-in, isn't it? So anyway, so we've done the bearings, we checked the condition of the crank and everything in there, and all looks good. Well, hey, we changed all the seals in the scavenge pump. We checked the condition of all those mating faces inside there. We checked the chains; they look good. We've checked, lubed, or we obviously lubed the gears in there as well. We've resealed, checked everything in the oil pump, all good, and once again, same with that, which is back just exactly where it was. So, and the other nicety of this, I think, is actually having seen the chains. I've seen they're bang on pretty much their manufacturing tolerances. You can see there's quite a lot of movement still in that water pump. It's another thing that points to the fact that the engine is good. I was speaking with Dom at Powers. The only thing we need to try and have a look at is valve play inside the guides. So have a little go at that, see what we can do there. But pleasingly, I think we can roll the engine back over. I must have another video once we're off here, before we put the flywheel and everything on. We'll take the rear cover off for the main seal, and we'll do that. And I just need to do, what O-rings have we got? It's just that O-ring there for the front cover. Speaking of front cover, we've done that in a nice enamel silver. I'm just going to put a couple of coats of lacquer on it as well, just to seal it off from fuel, coolant, oil, that sort of thing. I know she's not looking any different. All this work, she's not looking any different, is she? But you know, I'm pleased. We're getting there, right? Good. I'm not going to bore you with cleaning off the front cover. Same thing. I'm just going to use a little wire brush and some brake cleaner. Clean all that off, so that's ready to go on. Then I'm going to roll it over, which means we can clean the cam cover up for paint. We can reseal that. I'm going to have a quick look at the thermostat. I don't know. I might swap the thermostat, so I might leave that sealed for now. But we can do that in the car again. I'm not worried. Then once we've checked the valves in there, the next step really is to stick this up in the air, because got to run the brake lines, or finish running the brake lines. You can see you're inside the TVR. That hole there, which is the driver's footwell, is where the pedal box, pedal box bulkhead fitting goes. So this, don't fall off. Where this goes. So we need to cut those off, or unscrew those, and that can go in. These both pump. They give very good pumpiness, and there's no leaking. I'll probably just pop the master off and just make sure it's not been leaking into the servo, and then just give the bottom of that pedal box a paint as well, because it's all rusty from where I assume the seals leak, or it's where it's been stored for years and years and years. So, right. But no, that's very interesting to watch. So there you go, there's a little project update for you there, and the fact that we got another milestone forward with the engine, which I'm really pleased about. I need to think of other words other than pleased. I hope you're enjoying these videos anyway. I'll see you during whatever the next bit is I film.